I don't have to tell you that there are literally a dozen or so, or a couple of dozen or so ways to go about listening to your favorite podcasts. And we want to make sure at IDB that you have the opportunity to listen to Let's Talk iOS, our podcast, in as many different ways as possible, whatever is comfortable for you. That's what we want. So we created this page, how to subscribe to Let's Talk iOS. And you can see there are various ways. For instance, at the top, subscribe via iTunes. There are links that take you directly to the apps, or almost directly to the apps, to help you to listen fast. For instance, with the Open Let's Talk iOS in the podcast app link, it opens directly in Apple's podcast app. And all you have to do is tap to subscribe, and you see right there, Let's Talk iOS is there, ready for you to listen to the latest episodes. So now I'm going to show you another app. How about Instacast? So we'll open that up. We'll scroll down a little bit. Subscribe via Instacast iOS. You just tap this link here. Open Let's Talk iOS with Instacast. And there you go. Now all you need to do here is tap the little plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, and that will subscribe you to Let's Talk iOS. So easy there. All right, so our next app in question is going to be Shifty Jelly's Pocket Cast. Of course, you have subscribe for Instacast on the Mac. If you have a Mac, you can do that. Click there if you have a Mac and you're running Instacast. But Pocket Cast is probably my favorite iOS podcast app, or podcatcher, if you will. And you can tap that to open another URL, and you just tap the Open in Pocket Cast link there, and that will open up Let's Talk iOS, so you can easily subscribe. So there's like one extra tap there, no big deal. So you can subscribe to Let's Talk iOS, just that simple. Tap it, and there you go. There's the show, and all the downloads will be there waiting on you. Now, our last application, as far as iOS apps are concerned, is Downcast. And I'm relatively new to this, but this by far has the most options of any podcast app. It's pretty complex, actually, but it's cool for those of you who are advanced. So you just tap Open in Downcast. It will go ahead and open that up for you. Just like that, starts downloading your podcast immediately, actually. Now, of course, for those of you who like the traditional way of manually subscribing, you can just copy our RSS feed URL, which is right here. Or if you want to just listen on the blog, you don't want to subscribe, or you don't have a particular podcast app, you can just go to IDB every time we post an episode and just play it directly from the Let's Talk iOS page right here. So that's super simple. So we have options for everyone. And last but not least, you want to make sure, if you're a YouTube subscriber, to go ahead and just log on to YouTube, and then you can play Let's Talk iOS. We have a special playlist designed especially for the podcast. So any new podcast will go to this playlist. You can open the YouTube app, and it will start playing just like that. So those are the many ways you can go about subscribing to Let's Talk iOS. There are tons of ways to do so. We hope you can find one that works for you. And yes, we really mean that. Even if you're running a different operating system than iOS, such as Android, we advise you to download one of the best podcatcher apps available for the platform, Pocket Cast, and search for Let's Talk iOS and listen in, because not only does this appeal to iOS owners and users, but it also appeals to technology enthusiasts in general. So we hope to hear you, hope to see you, and hope to have you listen in. So let me know what you think in the comment section. This is Jeff with iDownload Blog.